The Manchester Derby might not be a particularly feisty one these days, but that wasn't always the case. Back in the late 70s, at the peak football hooliganism in the UK, tensions were always high when the two sides met, and more often than not violence wasn't far behind. On one such occasion, a bunch of Manchester City supporters managed to stab a Manchester United fan in the backside before celebrating the achievement at a nearby Wimpy. United had a very good mob that day, but we had leathered all around before the match. City fan Donald recalled in Governors, a book detailing the life and times of the old Man City firm of the same name. When we came out at the end, their firm was waiting, all their top men. Eventually, one of them couldn't stand it anymore. He came over to me, said, "I've had enough of this," and butted me in the mouth. I whacked him back, and a lad called Jimmy, one of our knife men, stabbed him in the ass. We eventually marched all the way back to town, to the Wimpy, sticking together all the way. Donald said the firms locked horns again after agreeing to meet in the city centre at 2 a.m. There was a big battle, he continued. A few of the lads were stabbed. He also revealed they used to ambush specific buses that were likely to be ferrying United fans back across town after matches by putting bins in the street to slow the vehicle before lobbing stones through the windows. It got so bad that they received police escorts, Donald added. A number of controversial incidences turned up the heat on the Manchester Derby in the 70s. In December 1970, a reckless George Best tackle broke the leg of City's Glyn Pardoe, an injury so severe the leg was almost amputated. The following season, City forward Francis Lee accused Best of diving by theatrically throwing himself to the floor in front of the referee. In a derby match in the 1973-74 season saw a player from each side refuse to leave the pitch after receiving a red card, prompting the official to order both teams back to the dressing rooms. Then there was the infamous Dennis Law game, which saw the legendary United forward effectively relegate his former side after scoring against them for City on the penultimate weekend of the 73-74 season. An iconic snap of the Scot showed him looking completely emotionless after netting the goal. By the time the 90s rolled around, the rivalry between the clubs had significantly cooled, with City yo-yoing between the first and second tiers and United beginning a period of domestic dominance under Sir Alex Ferguson. City's 2008 takeover eventually leveled the playing field for the first time in decades, and although the noisy neighbours have since pulled ahead of their rivals, hatred between the two sets of fans remains fairly limited. However, with the first ever Manchester Derby FA Cup final round the corner, that could all be about to change. Here's hoping ass stabbings are kept to a minimum, though.